Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. This is United Daily Live. We're back with the latest Manchester United news, the place where you get the latest United news, headlines, transfer rumours, all that good stuff. And obviously, the hot topic at the moment is Harry Maguire, Manchester United captain, £80 million defender, is behind bars in Mykonos at the moment, spending a second night in a cell over altercation with some British tourists and the police. So we'll be looking at what the hell's going on in relation to that, and of course all the latest news in regards to Manchester United and potential move for Gabriel Magalhaes, which has popped back up again. We did hear that Arsenal and a few other clubs were in for him. Napoli as well were in for him as a potential replacement for Kalidou Koulibaly, who looks like he could be going to Manchester City. And we heard all these rumours, but it looks like United may be in for him, so we'll be looking at those reports as well. Marc Jurado, that signing has been given international clearance. He has to wait 14 days before he can train with the team. I'm guessing that's some sort of coronavirus thing and, you know, staying in quarantine and all that kind of stuff. But Marc Jurado will be able to train with the team after 14 days. So we'll be looking at those reports as well as the fixture release as well, which we missed as we didn't have a video yesterday. But of course, we are back today. And we are starting, as we always do, with an on this day. And on this day in 1996, the 21st of August, the Wednesday in 1996, the 21st of August, Jordi Cruyff, the son of one of the world's most famous players, Johan Cruyff, makes a good first impression on the Old Trafford crowd. The Dutch forward scored on his debut at the Theatre of Dreams in a Premier League game against Everton. It begins a fight back after two Duncan Ferguson strikes had put the visitors 2-up. A David Unsworth own goal completes the comeback as the Reds emerge with a 2-2 draw. Cruyff also scores in the next fixture against Blackburn Rovers, another home game which turns out to be another 2-2 draw, another comeback 2-2 draw after United trailed twice. He had signed for an estimated $1.5 million from Barcelona and left on a free to Alaves in June 2000, so 4 years later, having scored only 6 more while totting up 58 appearances. 32 of those were as a substitute. So on this day, Jordi Cruyff made a positive impression on his Old Trafford debut, but ultimately didn't go to plan, and 4 years later he left Manchester United. Alien Tenno comes in with a super chat and says Maguire is done. It was a noob mistake. Now, obviously a lot of talk about his captaincy and whether he should be keeping the captaincy and this, that and the other. Now obviously we'll get into what allegations have been made for him whilst he's been out there in Greece. We'll get into all those kind of things, but what we have to look at is we kind of don't know if he's just been in the middle of something that his friends have been involved in, whether he's actually been, done some of these things that have been chucked around. So we have to be careful what we're talking about Harry Maguire, whether he deserves to get his captaincy taken off him and all those kind of things, because we don't know exactly what he's done yet. But this is what's being reported at the moment, and that's all that we can talk about. Following a statement from Man United earlier today, so this is on United Report, who have accumulated all of the reports for us on this. They say, following a statement from United earlier today, that's saying they have made contact with Captain Harry Maguire in regards to his arrest in Greece. The Yorkshireman is set to spend another night in custody after an altercation last night. So this would be his second night in custody. The local police claim Harry Maguire and 2 other suspects were arrested after committing attempted assault against officers, insubordination, bodily harm, revilement and attempted bribery. The Telegraph report that the bribery attempt was from one of the other 2 members of Maguire's party. Later, when they arrived at the police station, the Telegraph also understands that the altercation came to be when 2 strangers were shouting at Maguire and 2 others who approached the men, in which violence shortly followed. It's also understood that the police officers that intervened were secret plainclothes police officers who later performed the arrests. A Greek legal expert and investigator, Paul Anas, told the Telegraph that cases of this nature are frequently thrown out of court within Greece, but did add, if it was not an accident and it was an aggravated result, it could be 2 years in jail. But if you are sentenced, you can appeal and will be released immediately, which is the law for anything like this under 2 years. You can then leave the country. So obviously we don't want Harry Maguire to be in that situation, but it's very unlikely he'd end up spending 2 years in jail immediately from this. He could appeal and then come back to England whilst on appeal if he was found guilty of any of these things that we've discussed. Now, it's quite serious stuff. Attempted assault against officers, bodily harm, insubordination, attempted bribery as well of officials. That's not a good look. And if he has been involved in any of those things, then I could see that coming with more punishments from Manchester United. Manchester United don't want their club captain to be doing these kind of things. And if he is found guilty of any of those things and statements and, videos and these kind of things come out which show that he's guilty of these things, then he's going to be in for a whole world of trouble. But it could also be the case where there's been an incident go on, his friends have got involved, he's got caught up in the middle of it, police have come, undercover police. Who are these guys? No one knows who they are until it's too late, and loads of stuff's going on, and all 3 of them have been arrested. We don't yet know what it is, but obviously we have to wait for all the facts to emerge. But these are what they were arrested for, and believed to have committed attempted assault against officers, insubordination, bodily harm, revilement, and attempted bribery. So that is what the latest is on Harry Maguire. He'll be spending another night in bars, and I believe he's got a court case coming up which will deal with all of these things. But Alien Tenno says he's going to be the captain of the Great Escape team. We just have to wait to see what happens. We can't rush to any judgments of him until we know further details, really. It is something, though, that he wouldn't have wanted to be caught up in. United won't want to be caught up in. They won't want their name attached to this kind of thing. And it will be something that they'll be monitoring, very, very warily. And, it could reflect badly on Harry Maguire. Let's not be naive here. Whilst we've still got to wait for the facts to emerge, if he's guilty of any of these things, that's not what you want your club captain to do. Now, a lot of people talk about Roy Keane doing similar things and crazy things back in the past. But we also got to remember this is a different manager. It's a different era now. And the way the commercial world runs, United will know their sponsors won't want to be associated with these kind of things. And all of those are the issues that will come from this. But again, we just have to wait to see what comes from it. And we also know that these things can happen. If anyone's ever been on a night out, you've seen these things, or you might have been involved in something like this yourselves. I don't know, but we just have to wait and see what's going on. But it's not ideal at all for him. United captain and all that stuff. You don't want to be caught up in these issues. Brandon Williams and I think Marcus Rashford were with him earlier in the day, but they weren't with him at this time, which was great to hear. We don't want any of our other players getting dragged into this mess. But fingers crossed, gets an NFA, bosses case, comes home, gets a slapped wrist from Man United, swept under the garbage after. But I don't know, maybe it's something that he needs to just rile him up, get him proper, aggressive, and get him with a point to prove. I don't know, maybe. Guys, get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get your thoughts in on all things Harry Maguire, and of course Manchester United as well, as we wait and see further developments to come from this. Right, we've also got another story from United Report. Now let's see what this is. So Jadon Sancho has done an exclusive interview with Soccer Bible where he's been talking about certain things, and he said, for me it's not about looking at those things, speculation, and just focusing on trying to do the best I can on the pitch, especially in training. For me it's about improving every day. It's important for me to keep a smile on my face and keep happy. I don't really look at all the noise and stuff. I'd rather keep my head down, focus and improve every day. Clearly from his choice of words you can see the desire and hunger to become the best that he can be, echoing characteristics of what United want, but he doesn't really come out there and say he wants to be he wants to leave, which is probably what United want to talk about. He spoke about Cristiano Ronaldo and how he's his hero, saying he's had a fantastic career, he's had to mature as much as me, the way he left home at a young age, couldn't speak English, he's adapted really well, look where he is now, one of the best players who's ever lived. So to be alongside his people, hopefully I can have a great career like Cristiano Ronaldo. Now obviously that's going to fuel speculation, but really when you look deeper into Jadon Sancho's comments, there's very, very little there by way of any seriousness in his comments of a transfer possibly happening. So let's wait and see what happens. Hopefully I've sorted out the little issue with the audio. Right, Fabrizio Romano has also given a report on, well, we're hearing Chelsea are very, very active at the moment. We're hearing Chelsea are active at the moment, but in regards to Manchester United, he said a Gabriel update. He has not decided yet his next club. Arsenal are still ahead. United are in contact with his agents, but no talks have started with Lille. Napoli have not reached any agreement yet with Man City to sell Koulibaly, so they're still waiting. Now, it looked like prior to United being mentioned as involved in the Gabriel Magalhaes case, that Arsenal and Napoli had agreed a deal with Lille. Napoli were waiting for the sale of Koulibaly to trigger the deal for Gabriel, and Gabriel was happy to wait and see what happened, like he was trying to decide his future. Now we're hearing he's not yet decided his next club, and United have made contact with his agent. But why would United have not made contact with Lille? That doesn't make sense to me. Now this could be, because we know Fabrizio's not going to chat shit, but this could be his agent reporting that United are in to maybe hurry up Arsenal, hurry up Napoli with the contracts or with an offer, and trying to get a better deal out of those guys, and bringing United in will definitely do that. But we have heard United linked with Gabriel before. It's not the first time, and obviously there's reports we're on the lookout for a centre half. Could Gabriel be that player? I don't know. I don't know. Probably be needing 2 centre halves if Harry Maguire is guilty of those things. But we know we are looking for a centre half. So could it be Gabriel Magalhaes? I'm not convinced, but let's wait and see what happens with him. Jesse Gentry with the super chat. Thank you very much, Jesse. Says, would you rather have a window of Sancho and a good squad player, or one where we didn't drop 120 million on Sancho and got Grealish, Brooks, Gabriel, Saul instead? We need Sancho, and I don't think it should be get Sancho and not get anyone else, or just get one good squad player. Because you could get Sancho and then, let's say, a Gabriel or a midfielder, or another centre half, Benoit Badiashile, all these other random ones we've been linked with. So you could potentially do that if you got Sancho, and I would be up for that, because we need a right winger. Like, the rest of it is depth. We need depth, obviously, and I think that can come by a few sales. So I don't think it should be either or. But in answer to your question, I get Sancho and a good squad player, because as much as I like Grealish, and you're talking about Sal there, you're not going to get Sal. Sal's going to cost 100. It's probably the same price as Sancho. So you're not going to get him for cheap. So I'd definitely go with the Sancho one. I Am King thinks United ain't paying 120 million. If United have shown anything, we'll probably wait until a week before the deadline and pay 120 million euros and pretend we won the bargain war. We know what Ed Woodward is like. We know exactly what he is like. Fernandez is a captain without the armband, says Shahar Ahmed. I'm not going to get into this chat about armband stuff yet. If Maguire didn't keep it next season, who would I give it to? You've got Bruno, who's obvious candidate. Rashford's an obvious candidate, I think, personally. Pogba's a candidate. Bruno, Rashford. One of them three is where I would go. David De Gea, you could say, but his spot's probably not confirmed. But one of those three. But again, at this moment in time, I expect Harry Maguire will be our captain next season. Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get joining if you can, get your super chats in. We got MS Army in the house. What book did I read for On This Day? Dropped it. That's the On This Day book, if anyone wants to know. Mike Donovan. Armband chat is super necessary, says Sierra. I did mention this before. I said that we probably got it too early anyway, if you remember at the time. That we rushed to give it to him. We probably shouldn't have rushed to give it him. And we did, but he's the captain now, and whoever was our captain, if they were in this situation, I would say let's chill on that debate because we don't know the full story yet. Maguire will be sacked, says Daz. Let's be real here. We've seen clubs have players guilty of racism and they haven't sacked them. But they'll get banned. They'll ban fans and they'll sack other members of staff if they do those things. Clubs will not get rid of an £80 million asset over something like this. Even if worst case scenario came and Harry Maguire did some jail time, I don't think United get rid. Probably stop his wages, but they don't get rid. But then I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you get rid of any players who's in bed. Not that I think he will be. But yeah, for those that are just joining us, according to reports, Harry Maguire will spend a second night in a Greek police cell as investigations continue over an altercation with police. We also hear that there are no talks with Lille for Gabriel yet, although we have had talks with his agent over a possible move, although Arsenal still lead the way for his signing, with Napoli also interested. So we've heard what the Greek courts are saying on Harry Maguire. We've heard he's staying in a jail, well, a police cell overnight, and we'll find out what happens later. According to Sport Witness, Harry Maguire's lawyers deny everything, which you'd expect anyway. So let's see. We also hear PSG are interested in Diogo Dalot, and another fullback that could be on his way to Man United. Well, he's on his way to Man United. Is Marc Jurado. Now we've heard Marc Jurado was coming to Manchester United from FC Barcelona a while ago. A lot went quiet on that. He said his goodbyes to Barcelona, and then a lot went quiet. But United have received international clearance to make the deal happen, and he can begin training with the club in 14 days' time. So Marc Jurado is a Red. He's a Manchester United player. I imagine that will too include Joe Hugill, who is another one that was spoken about. And there's been a few younger players that have been spoken about with moves to Manchester United. So it's good to see United a scout in Europe, scout in England for potential talent. Joe Hugill is a 16-year-old, 17-year-old striker from Sunderland who's been scoring goals for fun. So you're bringing in these players into your reserves and your academy, and you're accompanying them with your players that come through, locally, and hopefully you're having the best of both worlds in your academy and pushing them through into the first team. So it's good to see us doing that at this moment in time. Obviously we missed it at the time because we didn't do a live yesterday, but we had the fixtures released from Manchester United as well. It's interesting. Have they made a statement about Harry Maguire on the website? When you go on the website, there's actually no statement about Harry Maguire at all. They've released a statement via the press, but nothing on their official website. They won't want that there yet until something more comes of it. Wayne Rooney's returning to manage a soccer A team, so he'll be in the dugout of Old Trafford in Fergie's chair, tapping his watch. Hopefully, that'll be great to see. So let's look at United's fixtures. That's what I was looking for. Man United fixtures. There we go. So the first fixture was going to be on the 12th of September against Burnley, but that was cancelled, obviously because United went up until the 16th of August in the Europa League, and therefore we will play a later date, a later Premier League start date. 19th of September is when we start at home against Crystal Palace. 26th of September, the following week, we have Brighton away. Then we have Tottenham at home on the 3rd of October. Then we have Newcastle away. Then we have Chelsea at home, Arsenal at home, Everton away, West Brom at home. So for the first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, we've got Chelsea, Arsenal at home, Everton away, Tottenham at home as well. Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham at home, all in the first 8 games. It could either be an amazing start to the season or an absolutely disastrous one, but it also shows you how important it is. Because when does the transfer window close? So we start our season on the 19th of September. Transfer window closes October the 5th. So October the 5th is when the transfer window closes. Our game against Tottenham is on the 3rd of October. We want to have most of our players settled in by that point. So yeah, we need to get deals done ASAP, really, don't we? Still a lot of time to go, but we need to get that back ASAP. Let's see what other news is floating up out there at the moment. Let's see what else. Harry Maguire's just stealing the headlines at the moment. Jadon Sancho can't really get a sniff. Ben Chilwell's going to Chelsea, which if you add that to potentially Havertz joining, Werner joining, who's a lad? Ziyech, decent summer. Thiago Silva potentially. Very good summer actually for them. United need to be stepping up as well because that could help them close the gap to us. So we need to be looking to try and close the gap to City and stuff. City are already signing players. We need to get a move on. So yeah, it's just Harry Maguire at the moment. That's absolutely dominating the headlines, as you'd imagine. Not much else you can find out there at the minute. Antonio Conte, in other football news, speaking to Sky Sports, has said, "We're going to meet next week with the club and decide my future. I'm not sure that I'll be the Inter manager next season. We'll decide the future. Inter will plan the future with or without me." Sounds pretty drastic, doesn't it? I would have thought he would have got another season at least. Didn't do too badly, but there you go. PSG, like we said, we're interested in Diogo Dalot and could potentially be join. He's going to leave Manchester United, it looks like. So how much can United get for him? Probably about 20 million, 15, 20 million. We paid around 16 million for him. You'd imagine Porto might have a sell-on clause, which would take some money out of it. So United might be looking to get a little bit more for him. But he's one of those players that's not guaranteed first-team football, but could get a decent resale value. Even though Oli wouldn't mind like keeping him at the club because they're good players. Like there's a few players that fall into that box. Not many, but a few. But there you go. Diogo Dalot could be leaving Manchester United. Especially if someone like PSG's in for you, the kind of money they can offer. It'd be silly for him to sit on the bench at United. It'd be silly for him to do that. Hargreaves has been talking about Sancho, and this is via Man United Zone. He says he would be perfect for United. We know this is a selling club and it's about the money. They've sold almost everyone. They have to close the deal. You saw what Bruno did to United. Jadon would do the same. And you've got to echo his sentiment. You do feel like Jadon Sancho would have a huge impact on the club if he did arrive. We just need to make that deal happen. We're crying out for a right winger. We're crying out for a number 7 shirt. He ticks all of those boxes. We've also seen as well another interesting story which we missed yesterday. Dean Henderson said goodbye to Sheffield United, which I think kind of came out of the blue because we thought a decision was still up in the air. Now, I suppose you can never rule anything out and he could possibly still end up on loan at Sheffield United. But we've heard rumours of a 100k a week deal being agreed for Dean Henderson. And we've seen pictures of him turning up to Carrington, probably to start his training, maybe get a deal sorted. And I don't know if we're going to send him back out on loan, but it does possibly signal the end for Sergio Romero. You know, Dean Henderson coming in, being back up to De Gea, you know, pressing him and hoping to take his spot. Sergio Romero would drop down to third, and again he'd be one of those players where, alright, you wouldn't mind keeping him, but you could probably sell him for 10 million. And in this market where United maybe only have enough money for Jadon Sancho, if you can sell Romero 10, Dalot 20, Smalling 20, Phil Jones and Rojo, I don't know, could you get 10, 15 million combined for them? Like 7 million each or something. If you could bring all those players in, you can raise up a decent amount of funds. You've also got, you know, 2 or 3 of Pereira, Lingard, Mata that could leave. More funds there available to be raised. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. We've been linked with David Brooks recently. I don't think that would be a Sancho alternative. I think that would be a squad player. A decent squad player. It'd be an improvement on like Daniel James and all that. But 40 million apparently. I wouldn't spend 40 million on him at all. If you can get him for 10, 20 million, maybe 40 million, rather put that towards Jack Grealish. I'm sure it'd be like 20, 30 million more for Jack Grealish. I'd rather do that. Yes, Isaacus, thank you for your super chat. I'm doing well, thank you, mate. He says, hope Maguire is innocent. We all do, but we just have to wait and see what happens. Free Harry Maguire. Himanshu with the super chat says, if United get Sancho and Chelsea get Havertz, who will have a better attack? Chelsea, United. I think Martial's better than Werner. I think Rashford's better than Ziyech. And I think Sancho's better than Havertz. So that's probably biased, but that's facts, I think. And people can point to Werner scoring maybe more goals this season than Anthony Martial. Martial would absolutely tear up the Bundesliga. Tear it up. Shahar thinks Hendo should be doing another year on loan. I can't disagree with that, but I can understand why he would possibly want to come back, and I kind of respect that. Like, he's probably thinking, I'm going to sign a new deal with United. I'm still young. I'm going to come back. If De Gea makes any more mistakes, it's my chance to shine. Whereas Romero is kind of like a keeper that I'm just happy playing Europa League. If De Gea makes a mistake, it's cool. Like, I'll just play Europa League. And Dean Henderson's going to be different. It's going to be like, De Gea, if you make a mistake, that spot's mine. Maybe that competition's what we need to bring the best out of De Gea again. Is it too soon for the free slabhead t-shirts? Maybe a little bit. Maybe by tomorrow we'll be needing them if they haven't released them yet. Who knows? But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to United Daily Live today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Apologies for the absence. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, of course, as always. We are nearly at 82,000 subscribers, so just over 18k away from 100,000. Help us hit that mark by hitting that subscribe button. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.